Hello, my friend, and welcome to Something for Everybody. My name is Aaron Mashbitz, and this is a solo episode of the podcast where I'm discussing 7 habits of personal excellence. So let's jump right into it. Here's a quote from Mike Tomlin, who is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike said, "It's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. I know plenty of people who are capable, but few are willing." We're all capable. Now, this is not the quote anymore. We're all capable of amazing things, and we're much more capable than we ever will give ourselves credit for. We're incredible human beings with immense power, and we matter so much. But the few that actualize their greatness, or that actualize the excellence that all of us have inside of us, is what we're willing to do on a day-to-day basis. Most people's competitive advantage, the ones that you see reaching the highest heights, are not more talented than you, are not different than you. They just decided to persevere a little bit longer than you did. And that's really what stands apart between everyone and those people that you admire or those people that you look up to, is what we do on a consistent basis. What are those habits of personal excellence, which we will dive into? There's 7 of them, at least in my opinion. And what can you do longer than anyone else? Can you persevere through the ups and downs? Can you allow the obstacles to make you stronger? That's really what we're talking about here. Because to be great at anything, whatever domain you've chosen, you have to have the drive to get there. That's the competitive advantage. You can't just talk about it. Talking about it isn't action. You have to be about it. Action is the only thing that's actually doing the thing. Yes, you can think about it and reflect and all of that, but that's not actually doing the thing. The only thing that's doing the thing is doing the thing. And so being great requires discipline, sacrifice, commitment, all of these things that are habits of personal excellence. So excellence is not really the goal per se, it's the standard that you set. You achieve excellence when you bring your best, and that becomes your natural habit. I've defined success as giving your best effort. And so if that's your natural inclination, is to give your best effort, you will eventually land on excellence or land on that being a habit. If giving your best effort is success, then all you have to do is show up and give your best effort. Then anything you do or try is actually a success. And eventually, if you keep pushing, keep moving forward, and keep being consistent, excellence will come your way. Excellence will come your way. So here are the 7 habits of personal excellence. Number 1, discipline. Discipline means holding yourself accountable and making the tough choices. It's something that you choose for yourself. Discipline helps you establish strong habits and maintain focus on your targets. It allows you to manage time and resources effectively, leading to greater productivity or more effort or whatever it is you're trying to achieve, through your discipline. As Jocko says, discipline equals freedom. Discipline is doing what you're supposed to do regardless of how you feel. I've talked about this in relationship to our protocols. If we have a mental health toolkit that we stick to every day, and we stick to even more rigorously when we're feeling our worst, that's discipline. Committed to our protocols regardless of how we feel, but especially even more committed to our protocols when we feel our worst, because we know those are the tools and the habits and the mental health practices and the mental health actions that are going to get us out of this, how we're feeling, just a little bit quicker than if we weren't to do these tools, habits, or protocols. So discipline does equal freedom, but discipline is sort of the foundational layer for all of these other habits. You have to create the habit of discipline. That's second nature for you. You're not relying on anything else except that you've built in this cornerstone, this foundational habit of discipline to do what you're supposed to do regardless of how you feel, and then sticking to your protocols even more so when you don't feel as good as you normally do. That's discipline. Discipline equals freedom, and it's the first habit of personal excellence. Number 2, commitment. Full commitment involves sacrifice and dedication. It means you are unwavering in your focus and what you want to achieve or the targets that you set. Full commitment means looking to improve and give your best, right? Giving your best effort is success. Are you committed to that? It shows prioritization and really allows you to focus on what matters the most to you. Commitment, full commitment. Getting started is the hardest thing. But once you get started, right, even before you get started, you can make a pre-commitment. You can make a pre-commitment. Say, once I get started on this thing, I'm going to see it all the way through. I'm going to do this podcast until, well, forever, because I intrinsically enjoy doing the podcast. What's that thing in your life that you can commit at least for the next 2 weeks, 6 months, 6 years? What is it? Make a pre-commitment, then get started. Because getting started is the hardest part. And once you do get started and have already made that pre-commitment, then the sacrifices and the obstacles and challenges along the way become a little less challenging, still hard, still difficult to overcome, but you've made that pre-commitment. And along the way, along the mini steps along the way, you keep committing and committing because you keep the word you made to yourself. And that's huge. And understanding what sacrifices and dedication will come with this commitment to whatever you've chosen is important to you. And then it allows you to focus on what matters most. You want to commit to being a great dad. You want to commit to being a great mom, a great teacher, a great business person, a great college student, a great friend. Make that commitment. But make even better than that, make a pre-commitment before you even get going. Then once you get going, you know that it's important to you no matter what. There's a bright line that you can follow that you've written down that this is what is important to me. I'll prioritize this and I'll head in this direction. So that's number 2. Number 3, willingness to act. Willingness to act. You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want, but it comes down to what you're willing to do. Ultimately, it comes down to action. You can talk about something all day long, but it's your willingness to act that really shows people your intention and if your words actually mean anything. When my words and actions line up, that's great. But really, it's my actions that tell you what I really mean. And so, are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to work hard? Are you willing to push past adversity? Because when you're willing to act, you transform your potential into reality. It's about turning plans into achievements and creating those results, but enjoying the process along the way. But ultimately, you can't achieve anything in life unless you have a willingness to act, right? Getting started is the hardest part. So get started. Doesn't matter how small. Make those habits too small to fail. But get started, get going, have the willingness to act, and know what sort of sacrifices or obstacles or challenges are going to come. Because it's not going to be easy. It's going to be filled with bumps and setbacks and obstacles and getting punched in the face and knocked back down. And you've already made the commitment based on the other habit we talked about of personal excellence. So even if you do that punch in the face, or you don't make the team, or you don't get the job, or something doesn't go right the first time, you've drawn that bright line saying this is important to me and I'm going to keep pushing through it. But learning along the way, iterating along the way, and making those obstacles making you stronger, giving you growth, giving you learning tools, giving you insights on how to change and grow and adapt to the situation moving forward. That's really the important juice there. But the third habit of personal excellence, and maybe the most important thing, is your willingness to act. Nothing is doing the thing outside of actually doing the thing. You're not a podcaster unless you record podcast episodes and put them out in the public space. You're not a writer unless you write. Make sense? Great. Next one, sacrifice. Number 4 in our 7 habits of personal excellence. Number 4, sacrifice. When you sacrifice, you acknowledge that success comes at a cost. Making sacrifices means prioritizing long-term benefits over short-term. It prepares you for the inevitable trade-offs required for success, ensuring you value and make the most of your achievements. People all the time say, man, I wish I was in LeBron James' shoes or Tiger Woods' shoes. Oh yeah? Are you willing to pay the exact same prices they paid to get to where they're at? If not, that's totally fine. Don't say you want that thing then. But if you want to be great, if you want to achieve excellence, There are sacrifices along the way. And are you willing to pay those sacrifices? Not once, not twice, but every single day. Are you willing to eat, move, sleep, and think at the highest level possible to achieve what you want to achieve? Or do you want to party? Do you want to go chase girls? Those are all fine things. Do whatever you want. That's no skin on my back, but I'm letting you know right here that if you want to actualize your potential and be the best version of yourself in greatest service of the world, there will be sacrifices that you have to make. And are you willing to pay those costs? These are questions you have to start asking yourself when you're on the road to trying to do something great. Because if you want to be consistent and sustainable over the long haul, then you have to understand what sacrifices you're going to make and what sacrifices you are not willing to make. And that allows you to stay consistent on your journey towards whatever you're trying to do. And on that same sacrifice comes the next habit, which is number 5, which is perseverance. Perseverance is about maintaining your effort and commitment even in the face of difficulty or slow progress. It's important for overcoming challenges and achieving long-term goals because excellence requires more than talent. It requires grit. Albert Einstein said, "It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer." That's perseverance. Are you willing to go through the trenches over and over and over and over and over again until you get wherever you want to get? And then there's really no there. It's a distant shore that you keep trying to get to because we're focused on the process, about being intrinsically motivated to do the thing because we love doing the thing. And we're willing to persevere through the setbacks, the obstacles, the punches in the face, the deaths, the tragedies, all of that stuff, because we want to become our very best. That's our goal. Now, some people don't want to actualize their potential. Some people don't want to be their very best. That's fine too. I'm talking to those people that want to be their absolute very best. We're going to have to persevere through the challenges. You're going to have to persevere for the games where you go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. You're going to have to persevere through the day where you make 0 sales in a week. You're going to have to persevere through the time that you got fired from your job and you don't really know why, or your resume wasn't up to speed. You're going to have to persevere through those things. You're going to have to take an honest look at yourself, awareness, acceptance, action, and think about, what can I do? How can I take full responsibility of myself and my actions and move forward in the direction I need to go to get where I want to be? Implementing all sorts of these different habits that will allow you to achieve personal excellence, starting with discipline, doing what you need to do regardless of how you feel, because we know feelings follow behaviors. Feelings follow behavior. So get moving, do the thing, have the willingness to act, and understand you've made a pre-commitment, draw those bright lines in the sand, and then persevere through the obstacles. Use the mantra, OHMS, obstacles make me stronger. Obstacles make me stronger. And they do, because we learn and grow from those things, and we're getting stronger as we go, so less things hold us back. And we can move through adversity a little bit easier than we did before because we're understanding our protocols and our toolkits and how we can take care of our mental and physical health and how we can eat and move and think and sleep well so we can be at our best on a more consistent basis. And along with perseverance is the 6th habit, which is resilience. Resilience enables you to bounce forward from mistakes or failures and adapt to change. Be willing to walk into each day and face challenges head on. Resilience is important for achieving any long-term target because it helps you maintain focus, it improves your attitude, and allows you to manage whatever stress comes your way. Resilience and perseverance sort of go hand in hand. People who persevere are very resilient because they understand why they're doing what they're doing. I've made a bunch of episodes on goals and habits and confidence. Look through all those episodes, gain that background knowledge, and then apply them to these habits, because there's so many little nuances about who you are as a person that makes you very unique when you're headed down your own journey of personal excellence. So think about it. How can you be resilient in your day-to-day? How can you train your resilience in your day-to-day? And then what can you do to bounce forward from those mistakes? Because I have defined failure as the refusal to move forward. So really, there are very few things in life that are actually failures if you decided to move forward. I've named them mistakes, just a mistake. So you have a mistake, and you learn from it, you grow from it, then you bounce forward. You can view it as a failure. It's up to you. Whatever terminology works well for me, but the athlete works well for you, But the athletes that I work with, we don't need to use failure in the midst of a performance because we didn't fail. We're not failing. We're moving forward. We just had a mistake, and we're going to use that mistake to get better, to respond to the best of our ability, and then we're going to bounce forward. And that's resilience, knowing that even if I'm in the trenches, I can crawl my way out of it. And that goes right along with perseverance as well. And then we have the last one, which is self-motivation. Self-motivation. All successful people have the internal drive and motivation to get better, to commit and grow. They don't rely on external encouragement and validation to be their sole motivation. They know that effort must be the reward, and they live with a growth mindset. Most people are going to be extrinsically and intrinsically motivated, but the most joyful, fulfilled people, most successful people are turned a little bit more on intrinsic motivation. You can be extrinsically motivated. You can be motivated by money and status and whatever, attention. Like that stuff is going to be there. We're human. Great. But 90 or 80 or 70 or majority of your motivation has to become within, because you just love doing the thing, because we've defined success as giving our best effort. So you feel purposeful about giving your best effort. You are motivated to give your best effort. But motivation is fleeting, so that's why the number one habit was discipline. So we're going to have extrinsic and intrinsic motivation, and it's going to come and go. Our intrinsic motivation can be a little bit more reliable because we're doing the thing just because simply we love doing the thing. And then a byproduct of that might be the external rewards, but the internal drivers, the intrinsic drivers, are moving us in the direction we want them to go. And we also have the discipline to know that what we're supposed to do even when we don't feel like it, because feelings follow behavior. And so we know that effort is the most important thing. I have a saying, it's full effort equals full victory. Full effort equals full victory. That means if you went all in, you gave your best effort, it was a success and it was a full victory. Now, it may not got the result that you wanted to, but you definitely learned something. You definitely gave your best effort. And wow, is that really important to think about in the trajectory of your life and how much you can learn from that space. It's way better than not even trying or trying at 50%. Man, you went all in. That's amazing. You sacrificed it all and you went all in. Yeah, maybe you didn't get the result you wanted, but what can you learn from it? How much stronger did you get from it? How much growth did you have from it? Now, the next time you go all in, holy cow, the results might be exactly what you want, but you keep iterating and reviewing and just diving in over and over and over again. And that's life. Trying to be as consistent as possible with these 7 habits of personal excellence and just truly seeing how excellent you can be, because you are capable of so much. Just like I said with that quote at the top, you are capable of so much, but are you willing to act, to actualize that potential? So again, you can be the best version of yourself in greatest service to the world. Thank you for your time and attention. I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Cheers. Thank you very much for tuning into that episode. And if you enjoyed it, click right here for another full-length episode of the podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe. But most importantly, above all else, please take good care of yourselves and others. And I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Cheers.